of that. And that is an organization, and if you don't keep up with these things in the news, that helps out people physically, mentally, spiritually, over in Uganda, where they've been going on, where really war's been going on for 25 years. And hopefully you'll ask her about that. She'll talk about that as well. But I don't want to take up any more time. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Eliza Dushku.
Salt Lake City. I come here a lot, but this is my first con here. My mom's family, we have family in Provo and Orem. Anyone? So, you know, we're locals kind of. Sick, what a huge crowd. Yeah! Coming in the door, that's awesome. I have to just give a disclaimer. I literally flew from Uganda back to Boston the day before yesterday, and then I started my first day. I'm a 33-year-old freshman in college yesterday. I was such a nerd, you guys have no idea, I'll tell you all about it. But then, yes, I did 3 classes yesterday, and then we were up at 5 in the morning to come here, so I'm nuts right now, basically. But I'm excited to be here, and I couldn't not come and see all you pretty people. Woo! What are we gonna, how are we gonna do this? You guys have questions? What are we gonna talk about?
There's a question over there.
Hi! Hello! Oh, I get this beautiful girl. First question of the day. Love you.
Wow, thank you so much. So just to start off, I've been a fan since way back, Angel, Buffy, since I was like, you know, younger. And I remember I would sometimes skip the first class in high school to stay home and watch it on FX. So
I support that.
Yeah. Yeah. I did end up graduating, so we're good. But my question for you is, working on Dollhouse, where you guys got canceled and you were then able to go back and refilm and be able to kind of finish off that show. As an actor, what kind of experience was that, being able to know that, you know, you were going to be done, you were finished, but also being able to complete that character in that role?
The completion process is huge, and I had another show, it was short-lived, called True Calling. And on that show, they canceled us, and it was more of a don't show up to work tomorrow, like they pull the plug. It just is boom. And so people still come up to me and ask me, you know, like, what happened to so? I'm like, I have no idea. We all died. I don't know. True didn't go back and save anyone, and it's just over. So with Dollhouse, it was nice that we got to finish it out, so that in the 2 seasons you have sort of this complete story, and no one better, I feel like, than Mr. Whedon. You guys might have heard of him. To do that, because he really, that's a hard thing, to take such the big worlds that he creates and wrap them up, and I cried myself at the end. So we were grateful for that. Thank you. You guys are so nice. You guys are so happy and like, not as many like hungover people, right? Got any Mormons in the house? What? I have a Mormon tattoo on my hip. You might have heard of it. It's a little jam called Lead Kindly Light. What? She's like, that's my jam. Let's do it. Later, it's a different show. Oh, over here, hi. Little Petunia.
My name is Faith.
Is that your real name or your stage name?
It's my real name. I think my dad was a fan.
Hi, little Faith.
Hi, I was wondering if, who was the most fun to beat up on Buffy?
Well, how old are you?
13.
13. Okay, we'll keep it clean. I liked fighting Buffy herself because I loved when we. This guy's like, yeah, kick her butt. Because it was such a cool and rare thing to have. I feel like these two badass women that were. You kind of loved and hated Faith, but sometimes you loved and hated Buffy too, and usually you don't see fights like that on TV. And so after some of our first big fights, the fans really loved that, and then we got to have like 6-page fight scenes that were just so elaborate, and we'd be handcuffed together and like beating each other while we were handcuffed, and it was this kind of awesome feminist thing that wasn't really being done, so it was a lot of fun. Hi. I knew that. I was going to surprise you.
We take turns here, that's what we do.
Okay, I'm catching on now. Catching on.
So I had a question about working on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, because I know that when you work on a show like that, it's literally about heaven and hell and concepts like that. And I was wondering if you had your own philosophy.
Heaven or hell? I don't know.
Okay. If you had your own philosophy and influenced by it, or what kind of influence you directly had on your character, because you had one of those great iconic lines, 5 by 5. And I didn't know if that came from Joss or you, or what you were able to contribute to your character.
Yeah, I wrote it. It's all me. I'm a genius on the side. No, he wrote it. He totally wrote it. And your question is if one more time, kind of?
Well, my first question was about the influence of philosophy, or if you changed your own mind about how you saw heaven or hell, or any kind of religion that you might have had before you started that show. If it influenced you in any way.
I'll answer that. Then yeah, there was this whole sort of story or battle between like good and evil. And one of the things I loved about Faith was that she was not, the show wasn't black and white. She was somewhere in the middle, and where she was somebody that she did some pretty bad things. She did. Torturing Wesley with Pam cooking spray and flame gas and killing people. It's not cool, but I loved her arc where, it's a relatable, universal thing, I think, where sometimes good people do bad things, and sometimes people come from really challenging circumstances, and I love that she had her mistakes, she had the consequences, she had amends, she had redemption, she had people like Angel that didn't turn his back on her, and I think ultimately a lot of people related to that even though they hated her when she was bad, they still loved her and were rooting for her. And so I thought that was a really brave thing for Joss to do, and for the audience to go along on that journey.
Thank you.
Hi. You were just so dashing, I couldn't take my eyes off you. I'll be back.
Hi, I'm Valentine, and today is my birthday. I was wondering if I could have a hug.
Hug on your birthday? And you're not scared of Ebola or anything?
Not so much.
It's that I was in East Africa. I'm not, okay. Even my own family is like, let's hug in 2 weeks. Come here, Valentine. It was cute. Smelled good too. Can I ask you guys a quick little favor? My Aunt Helen is 95 and she lives in St. George. And I could go and see her on Sunday, and I don't know if she knows what a Comic-Con is, but can you guys just give me hey Aunt Helen, love from Salt Lake or something? something crazy, like something dope, right? Okay. On your mark, get set, go. I'm gonna come show you the video. They love you. She's adorable. She's a sassafras, I tell you. Hi, there you are, waiting for you.
All right, so taking a break from, Buffy, Angel, and all your TV shows, one of the movies I've probably seen the most of yours is one that probably wouldn't get talked at a convention like this, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Even in Northern country, huh?
I'm Jewish, it doesn't count. I'll be very
So are all those people.
So my question is, obviously you've done quite a bit of comedy, but how is it to work with Kevin Smith, work with Jason Mewes, and just be able to really just let it out?
We let it out, didn't we? So many different ways. They're nuts and I love them. I don't know, I've been asked about them so many times. Like the first time I met Kevin, we had lunch and, so professional. He's like, now what's your name again? I'm like, you invited me to lunch, you weirdo. And I'm like, Dushku. He's like, Duck Shoot? I'm like, yes, Duck Shoot. So I got the nickname Duck Shoot at our first lunch. And that kind of set the tone for the whole insane experience of making that movie. They're just kind of funny, stoned, modern day Cheech and Chong.
Excellent, thank you.
And I have to say, Kevin has been really awesome about supporting organizations and things that I've worked on. We did an awesome podcast, one of his 5,050 podcasts, where we talked all about Thrive, and he was like, sitting on his living room sofa, smoking weed, and he's like, Dushku, it's so cool that you go to Africa and do that stuff. I will never get my butt off this sofa and actually go, but I support you. I will back you up from right here. I was like, awesome. And he's done it. Hi.
Hi. I was wondering, what is your favorite Joss Whedon project that you worked on?
My favorite job, someone went, ooh, on the spot. I mean, I've loved them all for different reasons. It's like trying to pick your favorite kid, I guess. I loved how much other people loved and responded to the character of Faith, and particularly things Faith did in the Buffy world and on the Buffy show. So I think, but Dollhouse also was something that we kind of did together, and I wish we could have gotten it to the place where we hoped to, where we had so many ideas about things we wanted to explore on the show, but the different factors were involved that didn't let us exactly bring the artistic freedom to the project that we would have liked to, but we still had a great time, and I love that too.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you. Spike, hi honey. We met earlier.
It was very nice, I'm
Glad you came.
You ruined my whole cosplay because you winked and I blushed so hard and immediately everyone went, vampires don't blush. Ruined it, it's okay. I would like to take one quick minute to thank you on behalf of all of us for coming to see us. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for
I even like Faith into my hair. You guys like it?
And thank you for all of the wonderful charitable work you do. We appreciate that for, again, going out when some of us can't get off our couch, but we support you. My question is, of all the characters you've gotten to play, is there one that you related to instantly or most that, like, if this character was real, we'd be best friends kind of vibe?
This character.
Like a character you played?
I mean, I've always felt like art imitates life in a funny way, and or vice versa. And for me, I just graduated high school. I was totally rocking that crazy, faithy vibe where I grew up with 3 brothers, I was a tomboy, I was like fighting everyone. And it was definitely inspired by some of my own things. So I've watched sort of this evolution of having your life documented in all your pubescent years on film from like 9 to 25. It can be a weird thing, but you're also like, oh yeah, I remember when I was that girl. Or like, oh, that was really cute. But it just depends. It's hard again to pick a favorite because they all were a part of me or who I was at the time. I mean, I totally would have hung out with Faith at certain times in my life. But yeah, we'd be homies. Thank you. And I have a special guest here today that I want to bring out. You guys want to meet her?
Yeah!
Well, as I said, I just got back from Gulu, Uganda, where we work with our organization Thrive Gulu, which is a trauma healing and rehabilitation center for former child soldiers and victims of the war in northern Uganda. I have my beautiful Gulu earrings on that I got from an amazing women's empowerment group while we were there. And so my mother, Eliza Dushku, is going to come out. Because isn't she amazing? And so many people always ask me, like, who influenced the characters that you play and the strong women, and, you know, how did you become a feminist? And I was like, it's because I was born to this incredible woman, and she loves people, and she has more humanity and just grace and you know, courage to just meet people and hear their stories and share their stories. And so I feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't let her share the mic, and you guys can ask her some questions as well. Slide are we on? What? Okay, thanks. Hi.
So I imagine that when you are approached for a role as an actress, you expect to only play one character. So I'm curious to know what your reaction was with Dollhouse when you were told you had to play not one, but potentially dozens of different characters, and how that challenged you as an actress on a daily basis.
I totally asked for it, so it was all on me. On our first lunch when we met to do the show, I was like, you know, I don't want to wear the same wardrobe every week, and I kind of don't want to be the same person, but I told Joss all these weird things, and he did it. So, you know, it was a little bit of like watch what you wish for, because there were days when I was completely schizophrenic, jumping in and out of multiple roles, but I asked for it. Thank you. I want someone to have a Thrive Gulu question or a question for my mom. You can ask her weird things about me too, just FYI. Yes. She's very honest and blunt, like me.
I just wanted to say thank you because I grew up and I have cerebral palsy, but you and Sarah Michelle Gellar being two very strong women on television, just having two strong women to, you know, relate to was really special to me. So I wanted to say thank you for that.
That makes me so happy for you to do that. Well, thank you. I can see that you're a tough cookie yourself, and I think that's awesome. And I'm honored to have been some role in that. It's always still surreal for me to hear people that really have had struggles and say that I influenced them, and it's just an honor, and I'm happy to know you. Take care. I actually have a question for my mother that I've always wondered, because I get asked all the time, who are the women that inspired me to be a bad A feminist, and who were your role models, and who were women that you were inspired by?
Does this work? Okay. Well, there are lots of different ways to be strong, and my mother was, whom she knew very, very well, But my mother was also a very strong person. She was an at-home mother most of her life, but my dad was in the service and she bounced all around. And my mother was one of those people who grew where she was rooted. I mean, where you plopped her down here and she put down roots and then she grew. And she was so willing to go anywhere in the world and make a good life for all of us. And I think that was one of the things I learned from her. She rocked. Yeah, she was good.
I remember my grandparents, my mom's parents were both Mormon. And they were, oh, there's those Mormons again. I have mad love for Mormons, and there will always be a part of me that is Mormon. I think I've just sort of, you know, found these really excited Mormons. I just sort of have, like, when I just went on my own path a little bit, where I went off the path, and I think I got sort of felt shame or felt uncomfortable. I mean, making a rated R movie when you're 11 years old and having to tell your bishop that was a little awkward. And then sort of do the ways that I came to be and express myself didn't always quite line up with the Mormon doctrines. And so I think I'm so grateful that I was raised Mormon. I think it absolutely has contributed to who I am, and I love going to church with you, and I have such respect for your beliefs and you know, so I love being a Mormon.
Plus, we do great renditions of primary songs.
But that being said, I think the one thing about Grandma and Grandpa also was they grew up in a very different time when there were a lot more, you know, stigmas and perhaps prejudices in the church. And one thing about Grandma and Grandpa, they accepted people, they loved people, straight, gay, black, white. It was always, they were so accepting, and they didn't just accept them, they stood for people, and they rooted for the underdog and lifted people up, and that was really brave in their time and in the church at times. So I feel like that's a really brave thing to do. Look, Mom, Bucky's on the right.
Might be a little bit redundant right now, but I also wanted to thank you for being such a badass female role model. There can't be enough of those around. But I just want to know if you're Team Angel or Team Spike.
Team Angel or Team Spike? Who are you, Mom? She said Team Angel.
I get a lot of these.
I mean, I love both those crazy dudes. I love my Angel. I definitely love my Debo and my Angel. I mean, I'm not picking favorites in the people. I'm picking favorites in the characters. He helped me a lot. He helped Faith a lot. He stood by her when other people were. He didn't kill her when she was beating his face and screaming, "Kill me, kill me." I mean, he hugged me. That's really sweet. We all need that sometimes, you know? Hi.
Hi. Okay, I got a question for Mom.
Okay.
Since Eliza was acting at such a young age, what were some stars that you thought, wow, my daughter's going to be acting with this person? Anyone that really just blew you away?
Well, first of all, I was not much of a movie buff, and so I often didn't know anything about the stars that she was with until after she was well into the film. So that was an interesting part of that. I have to say that since there's been a lot of publicity about Arnold Schwarzenegger and some of the things that he's allegedly done with women, I have to say that on the True Lies set, he was grandfatherly, he was appropriate, and I appreciated him very much. And in fact, I was really happy that she was there with him because there were actually some other kind of rotten people on the set, and I felt like he protected her from them. So is that kind of what you want to know? I thought Arnold Schwarzenegger was very, very good to her, and she was very, very good. Also, one of of the things that I loved about Jamie, actually, one of the people I loved best was Jamie Lee Curtis on the same film. And Liza was so little, and I was so new to this whole thing.
She was 12.
She was 12, and I was just scoping out this new world we were in. And at the end of about the 4th week, I said, watch that woman and do what she does. Because what she would do when she came on the set every single day was she spoke to everyone, every grip, every cameraman, every electrician. She asked them how their kids were. She asked them about their father in the hospital. She cared about everyone. And as a result, they all loved her. And of course, they treated her well. And she had lots of friends on the set, and it was a great way to go. There was no undermining of her by the crew. And I proudly say that that's my daughter's reputation today on any movie she's been on or any TV show.
Yeah, and that was a movie that you would call a boys' club. And as the female, as the heroine in that movie, also with her sexuality, I thought she was really. She taught me a lot. I mean, she was a woman that when she'd walk down the street, she was hot in that. I mean, she's hot now, but she was hot in that movie, no? She was doing it. And she would walk down the street and she would get whistles at guys. And I learned, I watched her style. Or sometimes she'd walk in a room and where do you go when you walk in and someone makes a powerful man makes like a boob joke. And not that I would necessarily do this, but she would sometimes like, walk in the room and someone would make a joke and she'd go, oh, really? And she'd go, okay, let's get this over with. And she would flash the guys. You saw him, okay? Now can we move on and can you treat me like an equal? And the guys would just be blown away and then she'd own the room and kind of got her power back. Again, I don't do that, Mom.
Well, it was so clear that it was a power play, and I mean, she was a very, very smart woman, and she could tell where the power was in any room, and she made sure that she had a lot of it. So I only recommended that because it's not a bad industry in every way, but it can be very scary, and you've got to have power, and you can't give it away.
Okay. Hi.
Hello. First of all, I'm a huge Buffy fan, and Faith is by far my favorite. I love
You
Faith.
say that to all the slaves.
No, I do. What's kind of better? Well, I kind of have a statement and then a question, but your mom's here, so it's kind of difficult.
That's good. That was also partly intentional.
All I wanted to say is that nobody quite rocks a bandana quite like you.
I wore a bandana as a shirt in a movie and guys can't get over it.
Yeah. Riding a bull. Missed that.
All right, but I'm a really bad Mormon.
I actually she was a hot ticket. I see pictures of you back in the day, and you look go-go boots with your blonde hair, and then I heard from she was a professor for 47 years at Suffolk University of African politics and women's studies, and when she recently retired, they had a party for her, and the guy that gave your sort of going away speech said, oh, we used to come in and I would tell Judy that her short skirts and she's a hottie. She was doing it. So then I thought back to all the years that you made me cover up. And I thought, you are...
Like I say, it's all about power.
Game on, sister.
I did have a serious question. I did notice that, well, I follow you on Facebook, and I did notice that you are doing cool things in Uganda. And I'm always seeing these pictures of these lovely faces, and I'm like, oh wow, she's so cool for doing this. And I would just like to know more of what it is that you're doing over there.
You see the photos on Instagram. You guys all follow me on Instagram and Twitter, right? That was not all of you. I'm very pissed off. At Eliza Dushku. It's not that hard. It's 2014. Let's do this. he was talking about the pictures he sees on Instagram and the work we're doing, and he wanted me to talk about it. And we were just in Gulu, and why don't, you're the founder of the organization, and so why don't we hear it from you?
Well, what we work on is trauma healing. There are traumatized people, of course, all over the world, but one of the places where they're very concentrated is in a post-war zone in northern Uganda, where Joseph Kony had a rebel army that abducted 40,000 children that he made into soldiers and sex slaves. And those children have now grown up. The ones who survived that horrible ordeal are struggling as parents and as citizens to come to terms with the trauma of those years. So we have a center in Gulu in northern Uganda. We teach life skills, we teach business skills, we teach computer literacy, some adult literacy. We also have yoga, we have other kinds of counseling, because we work really hard to give the kind of support to the mostly women, because we have women's empowerment groups. We have mostly women, but also men who were abducted and abused and really harmed by those years of war. We help them to survive and to move on in their lives. So that's what we do. And it's fabulous work. And we have a website if you want to see more.
www.thrivegulu.org. And also, I've done some CrowdRise campaigns and Kickstarters, and I want to thank anybody here that's donated to any of the causes and every, I mean, one of the things we're proud of in our organization is that as many dollars, many more of our dollars than other organizations go right to the ground in Gulu and in Uganda. And actually, one of the guys that just came on the trip with us is this totally groovy dude named Greg from New Jersey, and he did a monster donation to our last CrowdRise. That was where we went and we built a peace gazebo in honor of my stepdad Jim, who just passed away, and he had the most amazing time. I mean, didn't that guy come out of his shell? He was such a, so you can find him on Twitter and ask him questions if you're interested. You can come, let's like do this. And I hear so many people that say like, how do I get involved? Like just be interested and just go on, you know, come on our website, email somebody in the information section on the website, our executive director, Richard, and it'll be the best thing you ever did in your life. I've done a lot of cool things in my life, and the work at Thrive Gulu is absolutely one of the coolest, if not the coolest things. And I would love to share that with you guys, because I feel greedy and guilty, like keeping it all to myself. So come on a trip, come on an advocacy trip to Gulu with me, and let's do awesome shit. Sorry.
Hi. Hi, my body. Getting it.
I just wanted to say that I love you so
too.
much. I have a question for both you and your mother. I was just wondering if you guys could like share a story of like what really helped you, you know, understand and become an actress. Like what made you really, you know, just open that door and really understand that you would be an actress. Like what was it that really clicked in your head?
Good question. Do you want to start or shall I? Well, my mother was, as she said, not really a movie buff. Like we went to a few movie theater movies. We saw Amadeus, The Gods Must Be Crazy, and like some other movie in our lives in a movie theater when we were younger. But my next brother up, Nate, I have 3 brothers, he wanted to be an actor. He got a commercial agent. And for the first movie that I did, which was a big cross-country search for 8,000 girls, this one forgot to come home and take me to the audition. That's how excited she was about me being an actress. And so I had my other brother drive me to the spot, and I did my audition. And but she was so the opposite of a stage mother. I mean, she was much more interested in me knowing, you know, about Gorbachev and Lenin and the history of the Soviet Union and the world. And so she never pushed it, but I think saw that it was an interesting opportunity. And for me, I was so young, I fell into it, but I always assumed that I would go back to school and do something that sort of followed more along in the footsteps of the work she did. But when I did the role of Faith on Buffy, and I really first began to see the effect that that character was having on people, it became something that I had seen as sort of a superficial career or a superficial, you know, thing, and it really, when people would come up to me and say, I confronted my abuser when your character came on that show, that was real talk, real life, and that was when I first realized I was doing something that was important, so that turned things for me.
Thank you.
Also, one of the things you learn as a parent is that if you say absolutely not to a child, that's exactly what they want to do. And so my husband and I both decided that since we were not enthusiastic about her going into this life, we were certainly not going to say absolutely not. And we expected it would fizzle out. We expected it would just kind of not go anywhere. But she got a great agent, and I mean, a lot of it is luck, and a lot of it is her good agent, and a lot of it is that she's just an incredibly photogenic and spunky and an alive young person. I have to say, I love her. But she started at 9, and you know, next movie was with Robert De Niro, the next one was with Schwarzenegger. It was just bing, 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 bing. And so it soon became obvious that it was just not going to go away. And so by that time, then there's also the other thing as a parent, which is you try to support each thing that each child does well. And so we made a decision that we'd support her in this. And it's hard because, you know, I had other children and a lot of other responsibilities. But it's been a great life, and we've met wonderful people, and I don't regret it at all. But it certainly was not something that we planned.
Happy accident. Happy accident.
Okay, she just asked me if I wanted to tell my story from Gulu recently. On one of our first trips,
this is really intimate. Maybe we shouldn't have gone this way.
Well, like I said, she brings it out. We were in Gulu recently, in 2011, and we built a house for one of the beneficiaries of our organization. Her name is Rose, and we had a great time building this house. And there were about 5 Ugandan workers, and myself, and my mother, and a few other people were on our trip. And I thought I was like really down with all the Ugandan workers, and they gave me a nickname. They were like, "You're a Kumo." I'm like, "Yeah, a Kumo Eliza." I had no idea what it meant, but I assumed that we were just homies. And so when we went back on this last trip, we all sat down in her beautiful and modest living room, and we went to start chatting about, you know, reminiscing, and she called me a Kumo, and a couple other Ugandans went, "What does that mean?" And they all started to laugh, and they wouldn't, we were like, "What does that mean anyway?" They wouldn't tell us for like 2 hours, and finally, Rose's daughter, who's about 16, said, "Well, it means your mom had you without a menstrual cycle." And I was, and that, she's like, "You must have been by mistake." I was an accident, and it's true, and it may have been because I told them. I mean, you have me at 40, and I was determined. You weren't planning on me, but I think it's just they saw my freak flag maybe, and they assumed that this couldn't have all been planned. I was like Jesus-like, right? But yeah, Akumo is my name, Eliza the Accident. We got it. You're waving a 0 at me. Should I take that personal? Does that mean we're done? Wrap it up? All right, we can, like, one more question? Is someone gonna come like Apollo, like hook us off stage? Because this guy looks so good. Let's do one more.
Thank you. First of all, as a veteran, I want to say thank you to Judy and you, Eliza, both for the work you're doing in Uganda, and also for being a military brat. A lot of people forget that it's not just the person in uniform serving; the families serve too. So thank you. My question is, Eliza, I know that you used to, at least, enjoy archery and I think some bow hunting. Are you still, talk soft light, do you still like to pitch those twigs?
I just dusted off my Hoyt about a month ago, actually. I mean, yeah, a Hoyt it's my bow. I've always just been into physical things, and I think, you know, ow, yeah. And I enjoy it. I mean, I was a vegan for a number of years, and now I'm not. Sorry, I moved back to Boston. I love cheese. And it was just difficult because my mother always raised us to like eat what we were served, and if somebody serves you something, you can be like, I'm a vegan. It's just a little annoying, and someone's home. So back eating cheese and meat, and I think that one of the things that drew me to it was if you're gonna eat meat, like you should be able to hunt what you eat. You know, like it's part of the circle of life. So I'd do it, but it's not. I wouldn't do it as a sport. I'm also an animal lover in a major way. I mean, I think people know that about me as well. So. Yeah. All right. You want to do a photo out here, right? He wants to do a photo of all of us, like a group shot, selfie. Oh, okay. Did you guys have fun? Yeah! Wait, look at my behind. You guys have been awesome. I want to thank you so much. Yeah, we just got in this morning and we're going to be here until through tomorrow. And I just want to say thank you to you guys. I'm so grateful. I have the best fans in the world, and I mean it. And without you guys, I wouldn't have anyone to do what I do for. So it's all about you guys, and thank you. I'm wicked grateful. Bye.